All right, we're going to start this video up here and the only tree stand that I have on the property. As you can see, we got some mountains. That's a swamp that's kind of like a pond. And this is just more of a traditional swamp. There's actually a road in between, kind of right there. It's like 300 yards of swamp, then a road, and then a much bigger swamp. So I'm going to kind of go over what I'm hoping to do as I develop the land here. This is kind of a micro plot. There's a big path, travel corridor. They move right across through here, and then they go down towards the swamp and disperse from there. We got tons of red oaks in here. We got beech trees that occasionally drop beech nuts, but it's really the oaks that are kind of the big food source. You can see they're kind of littered through here. This is the property line. Now it goes out on an angle that way, and then we got a bunch out over that way. So yeah, I kind of have this micro plot that I'm going to try to keep clover in brassica, and we'll see what else I can get to grow in here. It's not the best soil. I also bought some chestnut trees and a pear tree that's self-pollinating and a crabapple tree. We're going to see what works best. I don't want too many bears, but I also want to give the deer a different food source than just the acorns. Give them something to where they're going to hit this, at some point throughout the day, hopefully during daylight. We got two other food plots that we're going to do. That one's going to be like an acre, one's going to be like half, 3/4 of an acre. And then I really want to develop this swamp a little bit. So let's get down. We'll go down there and go over what my plan is. One thing worth noting is there's not a ton of buck sign around here. There's a couple of like crappy little scrapes that they've made through and a few rubs here or there. But there's also not a ton of trees like that they like to rub on. And obviously down here, they're not going to make a scrape. It's wet. But there's not the hemlocks. Sometimes they like rubbing on white pines, ash trees, and sometimes these maples that there's not a ton of down here. So I can understand there not being a bunch of rubs, but it would be nice to see a little bit more buck sign. The only nice thing is I do have them on camera, so I know they frequent through here. But it's quite a big strip. I mean, we started way back there. Keeps going on for a ways. In just a second, I have my path that goes out into the swamp. So I'll touch back when I can get over there and we'll walk our way in. We're a few days later. As you can see, there's a lot less snow up here. And interestingly enough, the clover is either growing back or didn't disappear. But all the brassica that was here, there's no way it was eaten. And it's gone. Can't find a trace of it. So that's very weird. Not sure if that's a normal thing or if something ate it under the snow. I guess I don't know. Anyone has any experience in that department, let me know. But so this is our next section. Property lines over there. We're working this way. But we have water coming out of the ground here. This particular spot is more like a seasonal spot. But right over here, oh, yep, that's nice. Right here, and then there's two other spots. One's under that rock, and then there's a blowdown over there. And even last year, when the creeks all dried up, we had a real bad drought. The water kept flowing out of here, so that makes me feel better. But I don't know what to do with it. I can't get a tractor in here. I sunk the tractor both here and over there, trying to clear it out where maybe I could put a food plot here. Obviously there's kind of a thermal benefit with this ridge here. But that didn't work out. So, maybe some no-till stuff and just, have it weaved in between the trees. Or maybe I just leave it as it is. They do use it. But I'm going to go over to my lane to get into the swamp so we can take a look at that. But I definitely feel like I need to cut some channels in. I can definitely do some hinge cutting. Some people have recommended a burn. Maybe. I don't know. But on the other side of this is a road, so I don't feel like I'd want to do it with the whole 6-acre swamp, but maybe partially. Not sure. As you can see again, we got some standing water here. It's just so tight. It's kind of even hard to tell where I cut my path. I'm gonna have to do a better job. I think it's just over there. And but yeah, again, what's the thoughts on hinge cutting on some of these bigger islands that are maybe like 6 by 10, 10 by 12? Getting some of this, especially the dead stuff, fouled down, try to make some bedding out there. Probably a stupid idea, but looking for anything to hold them here, that's for sure. Well, can you tell I cut it with a couple feet of snow still? Whew, definitely gonna have to come back through here again. I actually stomped it all down, and that was as far as my foot would go. And that was middle of March. So I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't like 6 inches from the ground. But yeah, so this is our path out. The water table's super high right now. But we'll check back when I get out here. Hopefully I don't lose a boot. All right, making our way back here. And this is kind of a prime example of what I think could be a good bedding spot. I don't think I really need to hinge cut anything here because there's so much brush around it. But you can see like there's almost a perfect impression already there, whether they may already be using it or not. I don't have a ton of swamp experience, as you can see by the mountains in the background. By the time I hit a swamp, most of the time it is 3 or 4 miles during rifle season up there, so I'm not wearing waders that high, and it's, I mean, even in hip waders you might not make it. So what's your guys' experience with this? Or do we just clear cut the masses here? I don't think there's much I can plant. Maybe out here as we get a little further. All right, once I get over there, I'll show you what we're working with. All right, we've made it. And as you can see, we're in water. Now, it's not always water out here. I've only made it out here once in the summer, but it does dry up eventually, but the water table's so high right now with all the snow melt and the rain. So what I'm hoping is that I'll be able to plant something out here. I mean, it's a pretty good area. I was thinking coming in with the weed whacker, whacking it all down, and then just putting like a big Y, you know, kind of Y's in that way, and then behind the camera. It opens up again back here on the other side of this, but yeah, I don't know what to do with it. From everything I've been looking up, there's some clovers and winter rye or something that's water tolerant, but there's not a whole lot. I mean, there's cranberries out here, but it says that's pretty low priority for deer, so that ain't gonna happen. And I think if I could add some bedding in here and some food, they'd use it a lot more. I mean, I don't have enough property to not use 6 acres. It's got to be used for something. So the rest of the acreage I have is kind of planned, and I'll go over that at a different time. Probably as I'm doing it. I have 1 I have to clear, or 2 I have to clear, and then the 3rd one you've already seen, and I'm going to replant it this year. So yeah, I'm definitely open to suggestions. If anyone out there is seeing this and they're like, oh, I've done this in a swamp and it works great, that's what I want to hear. Because I'm not super optimistic about making this work as far as a food source. I'm sure I can improve bedding. And again, same thing with burns. I mean, if I burn it, is that still going to be a benefit? Because there's not really that much soil to add nutrients into and promote new growth. I mean, I'd imagine the similar plants would grow unless you planted something else. But again, anybody's done it, let me know. All right, I'm gonna go around. I'll show you some, I guess, a little bit of diversity out here. Oh. Cranberry. Weird. I didn't even know they grew like around here, or that there was a wild cranberry. I thought they were just like an agricultural crop and you just flood them and that's it. But all right, like I said, I'm gonna go around and show some different spots. You can hear we're getting close to the roads. I thought that was a telephone pole. It's a tree. The road is dope. Oh, this is way harder than it looks. There it is. That's a telephone pole. It's 100 yards that way, and then 200 yards behind us to the other side of the swamp, and then it goes, I don't know the math, far the other ways. All right, so we've moved back. We were, I don't know, 20 yards that way, and kind of opens up right there. And then as we come up, I mean, I can at least walk through this section here. And I'm sure there's pockets of that around here, but you kind of see trails. I mean, it kind of, I mean, I walked through there, but it looked the same before I did. And so it makes me think maybe they're using it a little bit, but would opening this up encourage movement or hurt it? Because right now they feel safe in here, and when I knock it down, they're going to be like, oh, it's too open. But again, I mean, there's no humans around here. I can't imagine that it would hurt, but obviously it would take a lot longer to grow back up. So again, looking for that experience. If anyone's done something, it's worked for them or it's hurt them, let me know. All right, we've gotten to the other side here. You can see there's kind of a trail going out that way. And for all I know, there's beavers. There's beavers on the other side of the road here, and there's a culvert that comes underneath they can swim through. So I've seen that plenty of times. But as you can see, another big runway here. I think this side is drier. There's actually an island right there that's like 4 feet above where I'm standing right now. And that way seems to be wetter. Most of the water runs down through the trees, comes out, and there's a trough that goes that way. All the water that runs down off the hill either goes that way or it goes and wraps around over there. So yeah, I don't, it's going to be an interesting process. I'm going to definitely film what I do, and I'm going to put a bunch of cameras up so we'll be able to see the difference. I haven't had any cameras out here, but I'm definitely going to post the pictures at the end of the video of the deer that I've had on the property so far. Probably just bucks, because does are just does, but yeah, so I think I got one more spot I want to take a look at that I found just the other day, and I'll check back there and that'll be it. Just wanted to zoom in kind of. It's like you can scratch this up, but it's really just mud underneath it, and this is what kind of keeps it dry. It keeps the water on the other side of it. So that's kind of the battle that I'll be fighting, is trying to grow something that's basically just growing on top of water. I mean, I'm sure there's nutrients in it, but yeah, I don't know. Just keep being negative about it. But all right, we're going to get right where those pine trees are. That'll be the last check-in for what I want to do with this whole area here. All right. All right, we're at our last spot here. As you can see, water's here, kind of floods into here, and also goes around the backside there. When we were in the swamp, we were about 100 yards that way. And when we originally started out, we were like 200 yards up the ridge over here. So I'm hoping I can make this into a bedding area, being that it's higher. There's some decent possibilities here. There's not a ton to hinge cut. I mean, we got a tree right there, a couple deadfalls, but it just feels like it's an area they're going to be safe. I'm real fortunate that there's not a lot of hunting pressure. My neighbor's house is right there, a few hundred yards away, and but he doesn't hunt, and nobody on the road hunts. So that gives me just close proximity, like a couple hundred acres, and there's really no pressure. I go a mile that way, and there's no pressure on the road at all. But if I go this way, there's a public walking trail thing through the woods on like conservation land, and that place gets hammered during rifle season. No one ever shoots anything, but it gets hammered. But it pushes all the bucks through here during the day, and they usually just run on the opposite side of where I am right now, right on that transition line between the swamp and the hill. So I'm hoping that if I can make this inviting enough over the years, that they're going to want to stay, at least for periods of time. But I don't know. Not too much optimism here. It's going to be a long haul, that's for sure. All right, checking out for now, and we'll be back when I start doing work either here or on one of the others.